In this video, I wanted to share with you how to shift timelines and how to align yourself to the positive future that you want. I'm also going to share with you some signs through my own experience and working with my clients and students on what are some subtle signs that you can pick up to let you know that you have changed timelines, and what are some of the things that you can do to maintain this vibration and momentum going forward. As many of you know, there's a lot of changes and upgrades and ascensions that has been happening to ourselves in the microcosmos scale and macrocosmos scale. For example, a lot of us have been talking about the event. The event is approaching, and there are some changes that are happening even with our sun. The sun is shifting from a denser yellow spectrum to now more of a bright white spectrum. There's also this shift going on in the entire solar system, where we're moving into this energetic belt in the universe. And some scientists would call it the nebula with a lot more positive photons, and this is causing some of the changes that we're experiencing. Or in terms of energy-wise, we are coming from the third density being, crossing the 4D bridge into the fifth density being, and simultaneously entering the fifth dimension. So a lot of channelers out there have been talking about this. If you've been following Ascension updates, you are pretty aware of what's going on right now. It's quite an exciting time, but I'll have to say some days it's quite like a roller coaster. You don't know what to expect. One day you are releasing these heavy energy, the next day you're feeling so light and so happy. And from all of the messages that I've been channeling so far, many of the galactic beings and even archangels, they're basically saying, think of yourself entering this filter, going through the ascension. It's like a Play-Doh, right? In the past, let's say before 2012, everything was moving really slowly. And as we approach 2016 and get closer to the filter, everything starts to happen much more frequently and rapidly. So instead of taking us 2 years to break through a repeating pattern, now you may find yourself being able to break through these patterns within 1 month or even 1 day, because time right now is really not linear anymore. And because time is not linear in the third dimensional sense, we're becoming more of a multidimensional being, you might experience some of these ascension symptoms, where I've talked about in my previous videos before. And you will experience time in a very different way when you're conscious and awakened. Time itself, you might start to have memory loss, like thinking about, what did I do last week? Like, what happened in my life? Or you might feel as though, wow, the last 5 days really went by like a snap of the finger. So you see that time itself is not really this linear, like a train going forward anymore. And this is a good news, because it means that a lot of the patterns or karma that we find ourselves gravitating towards for so many years, you now have a much easier time to release yourself out of that gravitational force of the repeating pattern, and as a result, changing your future timelines. Okay. So what does this mean? This also means that we are merging into our multidimensional self. You might be having dreams or visions in your meditation where you start to see your other timelines, like other lifetimes. Or you might start to, what I've been experiencing is being pulled out of my body and experiencing different experiences at the same time. So in this timeline, I might be just sitting down and I might be looking like I'm meditating or just like staring into a wall, but my consciousness and my astral body is actually somewhere else, either working with some specific, should I share this? Some specific beings on what are some of the mission that I still have to accomplish in my lifetime. So it's quite interesting about all of these changes and new experiences that are coming into our reality right now. There are more remembrance, more upgrades, and more activations. And you even see the collective consciousness starting to upgrade as well. People are going through these awakening and realizing that they have these spiritual gifts, or they might become more open to energy and more sensitive to the subtle energy field that is around them. So in order to shift timelines, we always want to be conscious and remember that we are vibrational beings. We are energy. We are slow down light and sound waves. Our consciousness have the power to create the reality that we want. There are a lot of quantum physicists that have done experiments that show our consciousness can actually affect the experiment's results just by being in the room or staring at the experiment itself. So your consciousness is a very powerful thing. And by using your consciousness and your heart to manifest, you can now create the desirable timeline that you want to experience. Now, what do I mean about shifting timelines? So there are always parallel realities that is going on at a specific moment in time. For example, when a psychic read your future, what they are doing is basically tuning into your current vibration and foreseeing into the future based on your current vibration, what is the probable future that you can experience. Now, an advanced psychic is able to see different timelines. And I find that with most people, usually they align themselves to about 2 to about 5 timelines, depending on where they are. So your future is in your hands. There are certain checkpoints, for example, certain experience that you need to go through, certain person that you need to meet, but there are different ways, different paths to get to this checkpoint, if you know what I mean. And so, for example, when we do reading and your spirit guides are sending you messages to help you along your journey, what a lot of times they do is for the high frequency beings, they actually will not interfere with your decision. I know that we want to, just get the decision, what should we do? But because of the law of karma and the law of non-interference and free will, these are guides. They don't really want to interfere with your decisions. That's against cosmic laws, and it's not really being service to others. So what these higher dimensional entities or beings will do is they will tell you, based on your current vibration, these are the possible life path potentials, and this is what are the lessons that you will learn. This is why. And if you chose to go this path, this is the probable future. And once you get to know the bigger picture, you can now make a decision for yourself moving forward. And here are some signs that through my experience and working with clients and students, some of the common signs that usually means that you have shifted timelines. And once again, these are not concrete. It means that you could resonate with some of these experiences, or you might have some extra experience that you've noticed in your own life. So trust your intuition. These are just some guides and pointers to help you along your journey. So number 1 is crystal breaking. Now, a lot of times we're very careful with crystal, but then even though we try really hard, sometimes crystal will just drop or just naturally have a fragment in them or have a chip. And so I find that these are usually signs that I've broken out some of my karmic energy patterns and that I've shifted myself into a higher vibrational state. Second is you've overcome a heavy blockage and moved through to the other side. Rather it is coming out of your comfort zone and trying out something new that you have never ever done before. Or in my case, for example, actually letting myself go from toxic people. I used to just be like, you know what, love and light, I gotta love everyone, I can't reject everybody. But I find that actually after I let myself release myself from the toxic people, I feel so much lighter, so much happier, and I'm able to serve at a much higher capacity. Number 3 is suddenly a valuable person come into your life. This can be someone that is a helper or someone that is a teacher, someone that basically came into your life and as if they're helping you change the course of your future. Number 4 is sensations of disorientation. So sometimes you might find yourself feeling like you are here, but you're not here. It feels like you're in those movies where you're like split into two, you kind of here, aware, but not sure what's happening. You get a sensation of dizziness. And this should be something that happens in the short term. So if you're feeling it for long term, definitely seek out call help and check out what's been happening. But for me, it's usually very short term. It only lasts for about 1 to 3 days. And number 5 is deja vu. In deja vu, it feels to me almost like a converging of timeline. So for example, I was sitting down on my computer working with my newly adopted rabbit, and I was sitting there and all of a sudden I had this remembrance that I had a dream or some type of experience about this moment before. So that way, I started to reverse engineer and think about the adoption process when it comes to my rabbit. I wasn't even fearful that someone else would take her. I would just be like, she's the one that I'm supposed to adopt. She's the one. And I wasn't worried that someone would like adopt her before I did. I was just really confident. I was just really surrendering and letting it flow. And that made sense to me because I'm like, because probably I already got the future vision, the deja vu of it's supposed to happen. So in this way, I also feel that, okay, I'm going through these checkpoints, I'm in alignment to where I need to be. Now, how do we shift timeline consciously? So I'm going to share with you 4 things that I do to shift myself into the positive timeline that I want. Number 1 is using visualizing meditation. So right away when I get up in the morning, I'll do my yoga, I'll listen to the healing meditations, and I'll sit at my altar that you see behind me, light an incense, I'll do my gratitude rituals. And what I do is I then open my third eye and to project myself into the future that I desire. So for example, seeing it with crystal clarity. I see myself living outdoors, close to nature, in a beautiful house with my family and children. And I'm very happy, abundant, and joyful. And so by seeing that image now, I then use my breath and activate my heart chakra to now put myself into that timeline. So now I see out through the eye. So instead of me seeing it like a picture in the movie, I'm now seeing my surroundings. I'm seeing my children. I'm seeing the house that I'm living in. I'm seeing the scenery of the natures that is around me. And I let that vibration soak into my body for a few breaths, align myself to that. And then I ask my higher self, what are the next few steps that I need to take to align myself to that future? And I'll usually get an answer, this is what you need to do. Usually I see things in vision, so I'll get like a couple visions of what I need to do. Number 2 is using sound. So some days I'll feel like I'm off, I'm releasing, and I might feel more heavy than usual. And what I do is I'll use the cosmognomic sound, Om, to align myself back into the space of creation, manifestation, and ascension. So I just sit down in a meditation pose and connecting to my higher self. I'll just ask my guides, my higher self, to please help me release any blockages as appropriate. And I will start chanting Om, and I will keep chanting Om until I feel my body lit up once again, open and light, feeling back into the vibration of where I want to be. Number 3 is magnetization of the heart. So our heart is actually a very powerful creation center. There's the outer heart force field, but then there's like the inner heart force field. So tuning into the inner heart, using magnetization or the law of attraction, pulling in what I want to experience. And sometimes when you're pulling in, you might get visions of what blockages you need to release. Maybe you need to do a forgiveness ceremony. Maybe you need to do some healing of the heart. Whatever message that you receive, do that, follow the guidance of your higher self, and continue to pull in that positive vibration that you want. Number 4 is using water. Dr. Emoto and a lot of physicists out there understand the nature of water. And so water is one of the most malleable substances that you can use to heal yourself. So what you want to do is have 2 bowls of water. This is best done outdoors. If not, you can do it somewhere you're able to spill water. So in the first bowl of water, it's going to signify the current timeline that you want to release. The second bowl of water is the new timeline that you want to shift into. And what I do is I place both hands into the first bowl and I release all of the heavy energy that no longer serve me into this bowl. Thank you for all the lessons. Thank you for all the wisdom, all the experiences. I love you, appreciate you. Thank you. And as I pulled my first hand out of the water, I wait until I feel an energetic shift, and then I place my hand in the second bowl of water. And when I feel that I'm ready to fully let go, rather it is after some cord releasing ceremonies, releasing myself from some attachments or karmic patterns, then I release my second hand and at the same time tilt the bowl over to release the water and let it be transmute, let it be released. Place my second hand into the second bowl of water. Inhale, receive this new vibrational timeline that I want to align myself into, whether it is abundance, joy, happiness, fulfillment, health, gratitude. Let it seep into my body. And then when I feel that this process has completed, I then release my hand, send gratitude to the universe, to Mother Gaia, to myself. And then I would just release that bowl of water back into Mother Earth again and complete the energetic ceremony. So now you've known the signs that you've shifted timelines, and some of the ways to consciously shift timeline is now maintaining that vibration and momentum going forward. And here are 5 things that I do that has been really helpful for me, and I'm going to share with you. Number 1 is work on your light body. And to me, anything that is not of the physical form is your light body. So that means all layers of your auric field, your chakra system, your meridian lines, your Merkaba, your advanced chakra, your earth star chakra. So all of the extra dimensional layers of your being, clear it. And one of the easiest way that you can do is to look into rainbow body practices that Tibetan monks have been talking about in sacred scriptures and in some of the videos that you might be able to find on YouTube. Some of the practices are tantric practices, cord cutting, forgiveness ceremony, basically allowing yourself to shed and release the old, heavier frequencies so that you can become more light. When you're more light, you're stronger, you're one with the universe, you are more empowered in your state of being. And the next thing is to raise your vibration. So the simplest way to raise your vibration is to be in the state of love and forgiveness and harmony. In this way, being in service to others. So being in service to others means that your intention is coming from a place of love. If you follow the law of one material, they explore a lot about being in service to others, means giving more love to others. Now, this doesn't mean that you need to take in toxic or abuse from other people. It just means that with your action come from a place of genuinely wanting to help certain people, but at the same time taking care of your body as well. And lastly is to embrace the inner child spirit. We've all gone through trauma. We need to really heal ourselves in order for us to rise and ascend and raise our vibration. So with that being said, is doing inner child work. Work with your inner child and understand what your inner child needs are. Merge with those selves of yours that perhaps you've abandoned or neglected. Your inner child, at the end of the day, is a part of you that have fractured because of trauma. And so what we want to do through healing is integration so that you can feel whole and complete once again. And through that, working with your inner child, you also begin to once again embrace the human vulnerability, human nature, and being able to embrace innocence and purity once again. Thank you so much for tuning in. This video was a little bit long. I try to keep it as short as possible. If you have any questions or want me to elaborate on some of the practices that I've talked about, maybe make a longer version of, let's say, a forgiveness practice, comment below and let me know. I would love to serve you. If you're looking for more support in your journey and if you would love to work with me, I offer private sessions, channeling sessions, healing sessions, online courses, and training programs as well. It's been my honor to serve you in this journey. Sending you so much love, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!